One of the highlights has always been a personal story from a rancher. And so I hope tonight we can get all of us through this story. I've seen big bellied, strong armed, big bicep sheriff, 250-pound sheriffs with tears rolling down their face after listening to some of these kids' stories. But at any rate, our young rancher tonight's name is Isaac, and he came to live at the ranch with his older brother and his older sister at age 8. And he called the ranch home until he was 12 years old, when he was actually adopted by 2 of our ranch staff. And he's now 16. He's still at the ranch on a daily basis. He helps care for the animals. He's learned to love while he's been living at the ranch. And he's a busy young man with school and with showing livestock, particularly pigs. He's into the pigs. And he plans on working with youngsters at the ranch, helping get them ready as well. You all make Isaac feel welcome.
Good evening. As mentioned, my name is Isaac Tubb. Most years, the child that is currently at the ranch is asked to speak. However, I asked this year if I could share my story as a past ranch resident. I wanted to share my experiences with all of you here tonight. Before I get started, I would like to take this time to thank each and every person in this room. Each and every person in this room for their continued support of the ranch. Without your support, there would not be the opportunity to change so many lives and give kids the hope of a brighter future. I would like to start out by sharing a little about my life before coming into care at the ranch. I was the youngest of 6 children in my family, and at that time, I did not know that my everyday life was not typical for most families. My memories of my childhood are still with me, but the times I can remember most are when I was 6 years old. From a young age, my siblings and I did not spend much time around each other due to being spread out to live with aunts or a grandparent. I was around my mother most, being that I was the baby of the family. Memories that stick out the most to me at 6 and 7 years old were things like smoking marijuana with my mom and oldest brother, skipping school daily to walk the streets, being taken to parties that my mother attended, not having heat or air in most living situations, little to no food in the home, and moving a lot due to being kicked out. Other things I can remember was the abuse from my father. He would physically hit my brothers and mother and had a horrible temper. He was an alcoholic, and once he was mad, there was no turning back. I remember there were a few times that my mom would go and buy guns, trying to protect us from him. Even while this was going on, my mother was in and out of jail due to her drug usage. When I did go to school, I would sit in detention on most days due to my bad behaviors. I was always fighting kids, cussing, and being disrespectful to teachers and staff. However, one day I decided to tell someone what was going on at home. Next thing I knew, we were being taken before a judge and was put into DHS care. While some of my siblings were placed with my grandmother, 2 of my siblings and I were taken into care. We lived in a shelter for 3-4 months. This was pretty much a lockdown facility and somewhere a child should never have to live. Eventually, DHS moved us out of there and placed us at the ranch. My mother visited us a few times while we were at the ranch, but she lost her visitation rights and eventually our parental rights because she would not give up the drugs. DHS set up a meeting for her to come say goodbye to us for one last time. She never showed up. When I first arrived at the ranch with my 2 other siblings, I did not like that I was going to be living in the country on a farm at this time. I was 8 and had no plans on making this a long-term home. I fought the urge to settle down and was in trouble both at the ranch and at school. The staff would get daily phone calls about me from school. I was angry and had not been guided at all in my life. I hated everyone and everything. One thing that I hated the most was the farm chores. I did not want to be on the farm and did not want people telling me what to do. The bad behaviors continued and became worse the next 3 years. I did not want to be there, and I just wanted to live a life of freedom and not be controlled by other people. My behavior and attitude continued to be bad, so the staff at the ranch decided to move me to a new home on campus. The house was called Faith Hall, and the house parent was Miss Cheyenne Ingram. She had been at the ranch at that time for 35 plus years. I thought she was my next target, but she held me to a higher standard than anyone had before. The whole summer, it was pretty much her and I in the house, and at that point, I decided that these people do care, and I started to let my guard down a little bit, but not completely, because I still wanted to keep my hard exterior going, and behaviors arose again once the summer ended and I went back to school. By the time I was 12, things were okay, and I learned I was being put up for adoption. I did not know what the future would hold or where I belonged. I remember being in the living room at Faith Hall, and Philip and Emily Ives, who work at the ranch, called me into the house parents' apartment and said, "We have something we want to ask you." They asked me if I wanted to be adopted by them. I was shocked because, one, I did not know what that really was, and two, why would they pick me? I said, sure, not really thinking about it that much. A few months later, I was living in their home, and to say it was an adjustment for them and me was an understatement. They had a child of their own, but took me in as family. I struggled a while with the adjustment. I was still getting in trouble at school, and when I got home from getting in trouble, there was a whole new kind of expectation, but I quickly learned that that type of behavior was not going to fly. The longer I was with them, the more I felt loved and told that daily. Philip really wanted me to start showing pigs. It is something that he did as a kid and helped him gain friendship and confidence. I said absolutely not because I was scared of being in front of people and stepping out of my comfort zone. Well, he talked me into it, and the rest is history. I have been showing not only statewide, but nationally. Next year, I plan on running for a seat on the junior board of the National Swine Association. The relationship that I built with Philip in the barn and the life lessons that I was taught will forever change me. No one in my current life could understand where I was to where I am now. I have become a person that I am proud of and take pride in knowing that I have become an example to other kids that have had a rough past. I would like for my sister Emilia and all the staff from the ranch to stand so that you can be recognized for the work you do daily. Now I would like for Philip, Emily, Dash, and Ella to stand. I want to say thank you for taking me into your family and making me your son and your brother. I would not be the person I am today without you. I plan on continuing to show pigs and raise pigs. I want to one day own my own farm and give opportunities and hope to kids that have been in the same situations I have. Before I close tonight, I want to leave you with a quote from Helen Keller. Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, vision cleared, ambition inspired, and success achieved. Thank you.